Hey everybody, we have something a little different, little the same, something else. This is a waterproof pool light, allegedly. I don't have a pool, but I love all things RGB LED. So when I stumbled across this, I thought it'd be fun to check out. You can do a lot of things with something like this, not just use it in a pool, but you could put it in a vase with, maybe some clear chunks of glass or something like that, and fill it with water and make like a neat effect with it. Or, you could probably put this, even in your shower and just have cool disco shower time. So let's open up the package and see what we have here. I suspect this is a lot like those RGB, LED strings going by the remote. So let's pop the package open and see what we have. Alright, remote. At least the packaging opens nicely. I like that. These clamshells, when they seal them, I don't like those at all. So we'll get that out of the way and let's check and see what the pamphlet says here. It is submersible and liquid, replaceable batteries, non-flicker. It is remote controlled, and it says bring your creations to lift with illumination. Our submersible lights can be used in or out of water. Illuminate flower vases, ice sculptures, table settings, comma, comma, comma. Or maybe that's period, it's hard to see. Remote controlled submersible lights provide steady light and do not flash or flicker. Open the light fixture and install the batteries correctly, then close tightly. Remove the battery plastic tab from the remote control. Put the light to the desired location and press on button on the remote. Color on the remote controller can change colors and modes. If the container is black, please turn on the light, put it into the container, or control it from the open part of the container. They mean that if it's not translucent, the infrared LED here, that guy, won't do you much good. The remote control range is about 24 to 30 feet in an open area. Please, attention, distance. To prevent corrosion, remove batteries after each event. We always remove batteries. And let's see, it says the same thing on the other side. So, there you go. Now let's see what we have here. Let's open it up. It's got a nice, it's that, I guess that's polycarbonate. Are there any mold marks on it? No. That's what it feels like. It's pretty heavy duty plastic. There's a chunk of metal there. It's probably to weight it down, I'm guessing. I don't think that's a magnet. No, definitely not a magnet. But you could put a magnet, maybe glue one to the back. Actually, the thickness of that, you'd probably be pretty easy to put a hard drive magnet in there and just glue it in. You could stick it to all sorts of things. That'd be cool. Might have to do that. Oh, there's the bottom. They say it's RoHS compliant. Twist us tightly. Okay. Now we can go to this part. Let's zoom in so we can see that a little better. Twist us tightly. Twist us tightly. Make your own jokes. So let's get the remote out, make sure that's good. All of these have that little tab. This one takes 2025. Yeah. So let's see, does this work? This camera must have an IR filter on it because we should see that flickering. So this must have an IR filter on it. Okay, so that's the inside. Let's get some batteries. Let's just turn it on first to make sure it works before we take it all apart and potentially ruin it. So we'll put in battery 1. 2 and 3. You can see the IR receiver there. Okay, so the remote is not working, so maybe I am not, maybe this doesn't have an IR filter on it, because that remote is not working. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, maybe not. Say maybe the back going on pushes something, but no. But maybe it touched something on the batteries and completed a circuit, so you can make sure it's tight enough. But let's see. Back is on. Nothing. Dead. Well, that's a shame. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be the battery. This thing's probably been sitting on the shelf at Amazon for, oh, who knows. Come on, let's pop the battery holder out. Alright, there's CR 2025. And let's see what the Fluke says. 2.9. That should work. Well, is it working? Make sure none of the buttons are stuck down. They're not. So let's try it again. Maybe it just wasn't quite making connection. Nothing. Well, instead of being a checkout, teardown, and review, looks like it's going to be a repair, teardown, review. So let's check, make sure the batteries are what they should be. Come on. Oh, no. Of course they're not AC. DC. 4.8. They're in the right way, yes. Let's see if we have anything on the remote. Forget what side is the data side, but let's see if we get any pulsing. And maybe what I'll do is grab a different remote, because I have a lot of these. Okay, that might be getting a signal, because that is changing voltage. Oh yeah. So it's either, it's not turning on. It's just flat out not turning on, but it looks like the remote's working. Alright, so I have another remote from a, from a string, RGB string. And you can see that does turn it on. And this one, if you, yeah, it's just not happy. That's weird. That's a shame. Let's peel the top of the remote up and let's look at the board. That's what the inside of those remotes look like if you've never opened one. It just has some melted plastic pins holding that stuff in. So let's put this back on. I wonder if the contacts were straight. So just line it up with the edge and work it back down. Let's see if we get any improvement. Yeah. And let's take the battery out of the good one. See, the good one has a 2032 in it, not a 2025, and it calls for a 2025, 2032, or 1220. Whereas this one just calls for a 2025. It does, yeah, it's the same thickness. And these are pretty generic. But let's see if it's the battery. Let's take the 2032 setup and let's slide it in. Let's slide it in straight. And you know what? I felt it push on The contact, I'll bet you that is what it is. It just wasn't making a good contact. So let's put the 2025 in the other one. It does nothing. So looks like we might have a bad battery holder, or just an unreliable connection. So let's go through some of the modes. Let me turn off this overhead light for a bit so you can see. So we'll go through red, green, and then we go to a purple, and then we'll go down the purple side. It doesn't really change too much. I mean, I can kind of see it. This is a little more obvious. And red, orange, supposedly orange, more of a orange yellow, and now that's supposed to be yellow, but I think that looks more like a green. See, green, yellow. It's hard to do yellow with RGB LEDs. Then we have white, and then we have the one where it cycles through, flashes through the colors, and we can speed that up using the brightness control. And then this is strobe. And so it just blinks like that. You know, it gets dimmer and then boop, bright again. And then this is fade. Fade's nice. I like fade. It gives a nice ambient light. This is the one I'd probably use the most. And then smooth, which is also nice. It's it just doesn't have the fading in between. So now that we see that it works, let's turn that light back on. Let's turn that off. Let's see what's inside. I'm glad we didn't have to repair it. It was just a battery issue. So let's see, one really tiny screw there. What do we have? Two more? There's 3 screws. There it is. And there's the inside of the housing. So it's not built too poorly. It's got a little, okay, so we have a little white mask of plastic that hides all the circuitry. And then we have the nameless 8-pin IC that we see in every single RGB thing that uses that remote. And then that's obviously going through some resistors to the transistors that control red, green, and blue. So let's see, each 720, 72 ohms. Looks like they have 3 72 ohm resistors, which is interesting because usually red is brighter than the rest, so you want to make red a little dim, so you add a bigger resistor. So these are, oh, 22. I must not be reading it right. Oh, that's a 2, not a 7. So let's see, this one, 16, 22, and 22. So let's see if we can figure out which channel is which. Let's check and see what the current draw is through all RGB channels. So we'll put the negative, and again I'm on, oh there we are, we're on milliamps DC. Let's start with green. We're getting about 77 milliamps for 1, 2, 3, 10 LEDs. And 110 milliamps for the red. It's really bright. Those greens are really efficient. And then blue, we're getting 96 milliamps. That's pretty good. So they're pretty close, and it looks like they probably set it by brightness because it looks relatively even. It's not perfect, but you know, it's not an expensive device here. You know, it's only it's less than $10 or around $10 maybe. I gotta look. I think I paid with Prime. You know, I think it's like $14. But if you buy it without Prime, you can probably get it for a little less. But then you gotta wait. So let's see, while it's on white, let's see what the base voltage is. Wait a minute. Do we get that? Do we get the base voltage? No. Let's see what the forward voltage is. Blue is getting 2.2, red 2.65, and blue is 2 volts. They are being fed, let's see, with the base 0.9, 0.9, and 0.9. So that is driving all those evenly, and it's balanced by those resistors. So you get the idea. So it's a neat little light puck. So if you have a, I don't know, if you have like a pond, or you know, actually a bird feeder would be kind of cool to see one of these in. But obviously, if you have a hot tub or a pool of sorts, get yourself one of these, and then put your batteries in. Make sure your remote works properly, and then you can have a cool ambient lighting setup of your own to enjoy while it's still warm out now in the summer. And if it's the winter time, you know, I guess you could put a wetsuit on and get in the pool, or if you have a hot tub, then it doesn't really matter what season it is. So yeah, close that up and close this up. So if you have any questions, or if you want one of these, I'll leave a link in the description on where you can get one. I'll leave a description where you can get one on Amazon, of course. And of course, if you have any questions, put them in the thingy down there. And of course, as always, thank you for watching.